Welcome to another episode of Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news and insights from Littlefield Agency.
Roop.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. It's good to be back, and we're in a new space.
Yeah, the Littlefield World Tour continues, and we've been in the Shush Room, which is now the podcast room.
Yep. We went over to the gathering table.
With the gathering table. We went to the platform. I don't know what that area is called, but over by account
Media
service.
analytics, account service,
Yep.
which Brock would say client engagement and project management, which is
Those
true.
all roll off the tongue. And then now today, we're back in what I thought was called the diner, but
it's
we're
called
calling it the kitchen.
Right, Brandon?
Yeah,
All
Brandon
right.
says yes. So one of the housekeeping notes we have to give you is that you probably won't even make sense when you listen to this, but I'm sitting in front of an ice maker that has a low hum.
Yep.
I don't know if it's making ice or thinking about making ice, but there's a hum behind me.
I think it's just on. I think it's doing its job.
It could just be turned on.
So if you hear a hum, we apologize.
That's probably it. You probably won't hear it, though, because Brandon is a real wizard at
That is true.
At removing all manner of annoying noises from the podcast that
Brandon,
we hear, but you never hear.
You are great. And also, the only thing I can hear is your voice and my voice.
Oh, wow.
In my ears.
Really? I hear the hum a little bit.
Brandon's turned it up. But anyway, welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. It is good to be here. We have a very special shout out today. It is Mike from Grasshopper. It is his wife, Chelsea's birthday today.
Brandon, insert
Happy
birthday here.
Miss Chelsea. Mike spent the day with us here yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't here. Roop and Chelsea and team took great care of him. I heard it was a great meeting.
Yes. Every time Mike comes, we have an agenda, right? Of course. You have an agenda for every meeting. Mike comes, we have an agenda, and I think we usually get through about 2/3 of it. And this last time he came, we actually purposefully shortened the agenda. We knew the things on it were going to be heavy and take time.
Did you get through all of it?
We did not. So,
Nice.
we get a lot done, and they're fruitful meetings. There's nothing like meeting in person with a client.
Well, and to my understanding, he got here 8:30 yesterday and literally didn't leave until 4. That is a jam-packed day
Yes.
of all things content CRM. So, Mike, we love having you here. We wish Chelsea a very happy birthday. We hope it's a wonderful day up in Kansas, but wanted to give you guys a shout-out.
Yeah.
Because we really do love having him down here. We love having our clients in-house.
He's going to be back in 2 weeks to talk content strategy for 2024. So,
and here's the thing, right? Perfect, right? We are very, very, very close to 2024 planning. Mike is doing his due diligence and team, so it is a lot of moving pieces, but a lot of really, really good pieces. So, Mike, I hate that I missed you, but I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yep.
So the reason I wasn't here yesterday in-house with Mike, I was caught a flight out at 6 a.m. yesterday. Went to Atlanta, drove up to Roswell, Georgia.
They call it Hotlanta now.
Call it Hotlanta.
How hot was it?
And not nearly as freaking hot as it is here.
It's 105.
It was only
Tulsa.
it's so crazy. It was 92 degrees. I was like, oh, this feels nice.
Temperate.
By the way, for those that are not in Tulsa, it's 102 degrees here today and for the rest of the week. And I think next Monday is 108 degrees. But I digress. So we're actively pitching a company called Atlanta Home Theater. And I've been communicating with the CEO and his team and flew out there yesterday. Flew out at 6 a.m., landed at 9 Atlanta time, made the drive up there, got there at about 10:15. The hospitality from Alex, Tiffany, Robert, and team at Atlanta Home Theater was phenomenal. I mean, it was amazing.
You were texting back home and telling us about all this.
First off, their setup. I've never seen an office like this. It's absolutely stunning, 12,000 square feet in the suburbs of Atlanta, and it's beautiful. As you can imagine, right, they sell home theater equipment, but they do a lot of other stuff in the sense of home automation, golf simulators, shades rolling up and down, music, sound. The sound system I heard yesterday, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I've never heard music in that light before. I'm going to show you a video. And the video doesn't do it any freaking justice. But they cater to a very specific demographic and target audience, as you can imagine, very affluent people. Their product, their install from start to finish is amazing. They gave me 3 hours worth of their time, and they are slinging 12 to 15-hour days right now because they have a customer event on August 11th, which they even invited me to. Oh, wow. So nice. And it is the who's who of Atlanta, key customers, potential customers, and they're getting ready for that event because they're showing off their space. They're doing a lot in the sense of redesigning the aesthetics, the atmosphere, and getting some really cool products in there. But it's not every day that you get that sort of situation, that kind of welcoming. And 3 hours is a chunk of time.
Yeah, especially when you're getting ready for an event that's impending.
And I told them, I was like, oh my gosh, because I had read on their website that this event was happening. But for them to carve out that amount of time for me while still working 12 to 15-hour days is amazing. And I'm sure the event's going to be spectacular. So Alex, Tiffany, and Robert, thank you for the wonderful hospitality. We're excited for what is potentially to come in working with you and the team. But thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see the videos you brought back too, because we did our research before you headed out there, of course, and that Star Wars room is something else.
And guys, go to atlantahometheater.com.
Yeah,
there is a client, and I won't say that. Actually, they disclose the location on their website. It's in Louisiana, and it is a $1 million Star Wars movie theater. And it is unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And they did it from start to finish. Everything. It's spectacular.
It puts man caves everywhere to shame. It's pretty good.
The cool thing was, right, it was a great meeting. We have great next steps after they get through their customer event. And then I walked in our home at 5:40 last night. So I left at 6 a.m., was in Atlanta, and I was home for dinner. It was lovely.
Yeah, we love it.
And here we are. Talking digital trends.
Back podcasting.
I know. So we have two very relevant topics because... oh my God, what?
How much has been going on? Look, I didn't think this would... Last year, all we talked about was... we spent a lot of time talking about Be Real and stuff like that. We thought this year was going to be mostly AI, and we've talked a lot of AI.
And we started off strong on the AI front.
There'll be more AI to come. There's still AI things happening. I'm putting little bits together for August right now, so there's some AI in there. But I could have never predicted the amount of airtime we have to spend on Twitter. Or now...
X.
And it's
which, like, do they do it's this?
Yeah, there's a logo. It's a whole thing. So,
and by the way, temporary logo. It's a temporary.
Well, he said that after everyone was like, "Why is this your logo?"
Calls us poor whoever the graphic designers at Twitter.
So we're going to cover some of the changes and what we think are some of the kind of unusual decisions, I guess we'll say, that are happening at Twitter, and whether, we've been saying it for a while, and I just feel more and more vindicated every week. Twitter's a hot mess right now, and nothing that anyone needs to be involved with. And I'm not telling you I've picked Threads over Twitter or anything like that. It's just one is a stable platform and one is clearly not right now.
Everyone, those listening to our podcast, whether you're in the B2B world or B2C world, you understand the importance of brand equity. The brand equity that Twitter has developed in the last 17 years.
In 17 years, they're a social media platform that has anywhere from 300 to 400 million active users.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. When you compare it to the billions of the world, they're pretty small. But at the same time, they get mentioned in the same breath. They're very popular. They've been around a long time.
And you see a blue bird and you think Twitter. I mean, like that there.
The language around it, you tweet.
You tweet. And by the way, you still tweet.
I guess, for now, you still tweet. So... To build up that kind of brand equity where, it's like Kleenex or Band-Aid, right?
Nike,
right.
Apple.
It's like the words become synonymous with other things outside the platform even.
Of course.
That's a wild thing to say. Yeah, we're ditching
We're
going
to ditch that.
We're going to ditch that.
And I don't know. I saw a great article. Did you send it? Was it the evolution? Not evolution. It was how the Twitter bird
they built the
logo.
Rebuilt the bird, yeah.
Which is fascinating. It's worth it. Was it on X or was it somewhere else? It was on TikTok.
It was on Threads.
You can Google it.
Yeah.
It was really interesting, and the meaning behind it, right? And we, as a marketing company, when we develop these, whether it's branding campaigns or logos. Rocco's making a cup of coffee right now, if you can hear that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rocco, make sure and wave when you walk by.
Brandon may be able to edit that out.
But no, it is fascinating, the story and the simplicity behind the original bird.
All circles.
All circles.
Yeah, use a lot of circles. So when you spent that much time to get that much brand equity to just kind of on a whim
throw it out the window.
Toss it is quite concerning.
And by the way, Elon Musk is a smart guy, and you have shared your opinions about him over the last 6 months. Sorry, Brandon.
I did it too.
This one has dumbfounded me. This one I don't understand. I know that, I guess, hey, any publicity is quote-unquote good publicity. He is making the news articles like left and right this year, but oh my God.
I think that, I think as a culture, we confuse wealth with genius, and that's what we're seeing unravel here. But anyhow, we'll approach it instead from like an advertising view, right?
Yeah, okay.
Getting rid of brand equity is wild. The day one rollout was bumpy to say the least. So he announced this on Sunday night. Sunday morning we woke up and he has X.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple of things
X.com.
Right.
I wonder how much that URL was, by the way. X.com?
Well, he's owned X.com since before PayPal. So he's had that a long time. We're going to talk about what he doesn't have about it with it in a minute. But so day one rollout, we have definitely rebranded brands before. There's a coordinated effort on how everything gets pushed out to the public.
I talked to Atlanta Home Theater about that yesterday.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't just kind of say, hey, I'm doing this, and you update your profile, which is what he did. So I woke up Monday morning. Sure enough, they're X now, and he had X.com in his profile. So I clicked it to see where it went. And it went to a white page because the smartest, wealthiest man in the world didn't purchase an SSL certificate that cost $75 so that his domain would work. These are simple things that most of us think of. Now, by the end of the day, that was working. Someone scrambled and got it going. But, that's a crazy rollout. He also didn't consider that he doesn't own the trademark to X in the social media platform. Yep. Probably much to his chagrin, he found out, Meta owns that. He doesn't own X when it comes to video games, which is another possibility they're thinking with this platform. Of course, Xbox and Microsoft own that. So it's a really bizarre kind of haphazard, not even really thought out rollout that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, and on the advertising front, they are making I didn't see the details of it, but there is a quote-unquote deal for advertisers trying to entice them back to the platform.
Yeah, they infamously, Musk does not have a PR department, so there's no one you can talk to get answers if you're part of the press. You used to be able to email
just
them.
tweet them.
Or
X them.
We don't know. So you used to be able to email press at Twitter or Tesla.com or whatever, and until this week, you got a poop emoji back. Again, this man's 53. But that was kind of the response. So we don't really know their numbers. Yes, that's true. So we don't really know the numbers behind who's left and what's going on. You just have their word for it that engagement's an all-time high and all this. There's some peripheral metrics that we are able to look at, and they're somewhat anecdotal, but we know the advertisers are not coming back. They are leaving. So in some ways you would think, okay, rebranding to X is a good idea. Like Twitter, he's burned that. That's done. Well, let's restart it. But it's such a weird rollout, and I don't think he's fooling anyone. Everyone knows who he is, and he's still associated.
Everyone knows who he is. He is obviously brilliant. I mean, there's something, and I read an article, his vision of X in the sense of being one of the largest payment and financial platforms in the world. So then I'm like, okay, well, that's a massive pivot too. And you've got the Twitter aspect, but you've got the financial. So he might have a mastermind plan that ends up making him. How many billions did he lose in the last week? I forget the number. He's still way ahead of Bernard Arnault.
He's lost a lot.
Arnault.
What I read
French.
Was that he bought Twitter for $44 million. It had dropped to about $17 million by last week.
Billion, not million.
Billion, yeah. Sorry, billion. Yeah. My B's are not pronounced. Silent B's. This week when the rebrand happened and the way he lost equity, they now are valuing it less than $8 billion. So it's not getting.
Do you want to buy X? I don't know how he financed.
Yeah, I wish we had enough money.
That'd be awesome.
But it's problematic. And when he first went into this a few years ago, he's involved in a lot of other businesses, and those businesses get very nervous when he does things like this. I think the end game here is that Elon is going to have to leave a few of his platforms. I don't think he'll stay on as active on X or Twitter, whatever it is.
You can't.
I kind of even see a world, and by the way, this is going to sound crazy. I'm going to predict it now, and I'll be right later. I think the board at Tesla probably pushes him out, and this wouldn't be the first time this has happened to him in his career. And he'll move on and he'll do something else. But
that's the thing, and
he's just too erratic.
He's not worried about that. By the way, from my perspective of running a business, and we have 24 employees here, I've got a lot going through my head on a daily basis. I can't even imagine what that guy's doing.
Running 3 or 4. I know.
Well, here in other news, right? Threads is at 185 million daily active users.
Yep. Now you've read.
Lord Atlanta.
You've read, and it's true. The activity has dropped quite a bit, about 50% from the beginning, which Meta says they expected.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, you would.
Shiny object.
What they have done as of yesterday have started rolling out some of the features people are wanting. So now, and I have to show it to you because it's harder to find just looking at it. But now at the top of Threads, there's 2 tabs, one for following and one for you. So now you have 2 options to view your content. The people you actually follow in chronological order, which was another thing we all wanted. And now just things they think you would like or you'd be. So it algorithmically. Yeah. They did some language translations things. There's some other under the hood things. They're moving ahead. It's going to be fine. But yeah, 185 million is pretty good. And that was as of a few days ago, so it could be a little higher than that now. By next week, we're going to be at 200 million.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that one's moving along quick.
So there's your update. I'm right. Nothing crazy. You've seen this across major headlines, but we have to cover it because this is just wild and crazy.
Yeah.
And
Also, did we mention the logo was created by a fan?
Fan.
Yeah.
We did not mention that, but you were correct.
So it turns out that logo also is just a font type, and you have to get permission from the font creators to actually use the font type as your logo, and none of that happened either. There's a lot going on. It's fun.
So you got that. We alluded to Threads. And our second digital trend.
Topic number 2.
Brandon, is TikTok adds text-based posts to expand your content options.
Everybody's in the water now. So, yeah.
Which I was like, wow, I did see that earlier this week. And I'm like, holy cow, they're going to branch and dip their toe in the water here.
Yep. We went through so it's full circle. We went through a whole era where everyone wanted to be a photo app. Then we went through a whole era where everybody wanted to be a video app. And now even video apps and photo apps are wanting to be text-based apps for social. So yeah, everyone's seeing an opportunity as Twitter or X continues to stumble. I read Blue Sky signups for Jack Dorsey were through the roof again this week. Mastodon, that thing dusted off and grew again. I mean, they're like 15 million users. It's not a ton, but it's something. So this concept of there's an opportunity, there's a need for this. There's clearly a desire in the internet for there to be a kind of text-based, thought-based stream of consciousness, and who's going to win it? It's right now probably going to be Threads, but there's a lot out there.
Time being, and what's interesting, before they rolled out this text-based, I have noticed on, at least in my TikTok feeds, I'll see video content, but there's text overlays.
Yeah.
And it's hitting on key points. Hey, like these 3 things you take. And I'm like, okay, that's helpful for me because you're listening. You're now seeing it. I digest that better. Now that's just party one, Sam Littlefield.
It's helpful.
It's helpful, and then boom, text-based. Does it last super long? I don't think so.
No.
Maybe it's always an option. Is it some people experiment with it and then go back to video? I think so.
TikTok does a lot of they did this with BeReal. They try to absorb what's popular in the moment that's happening on the scene, and then eventually they kill it and it goes away. And I think that's probably true here. This won't last because people don't think of TikTok as a text-based app. That's why Meta was kind of smart. They didn't just say, hey, we're going to make Instagram text-based. They spun out of it a whole separate thing, right?
They thought it through.
It's well done. So
now I'm really thinking, does this cage match happen between Elon and Zuck? It's got to happen.
I heard it was off because Elon's mom didn't want him to do it. She's fairly involved in his life. Then I heard, no, it was back on, and I've seen photos of Zuck training for it even.
Yeah, no, I have seen that too. All I have to say is it would be
what a nerd fight.
Excellent.
Oh, my God.
You see what I did there?
Very funny.
Hey, so I almost texted you yesterday as we wrap this episode. There's a guy that I follow, marketer, kind of a consultant that we've worked with in the past, and he was talking about podcasts he listens to. Didn't mention us. Don't think he's listening to us.
Insert wah-wah here.
But it was interesting because he was talking about how many podcasts are doing the 30 minutes to an hour. And hey, if you're Joe Rogan, for sure, right? Like, you've got the listener base, and that's awesome. But it got me thinking. He was like, man, you really have my attention for 15 to 25 minutes. And I don't think we've ever told you guys this. When we wrap camera, Roop and I always have a guessing game of how many minutes this is. And usually Roop's pretty spot on. So as we wrap this episode...
Do I want to guess? You want me to guess live?
I think you guess, and I'll go after you. I've got a number in my head. Hell, let's say it at the same time.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
16.
19.
Oh.
Brandon pointed at Roop. Is it 19?
Are you kidding me?
We're ending it there. Adios, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed our little chat and found ways to grow your own marketing strategies. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on social media @Littlefield Agency.